Welcome to Cliffhangers and Cocktails podcast with Amy Sissel, that's me, and Shanna Cloud.
That's me.
That's her. Okay.
Me.
Yeah, that's her. USA Today best-selling authors of paranormal women's fiction, among other things. And this podcast is brought to you, as always, by the Caftan Coven.
Today is another mini-sode. So we are going to do quite a few of these, a short podcast where we discuss a single topic relating to the craft, whether it's craft cocktails or witchcraft or writing craft. These will be great to listen to when you don't have a lot of time, but you want something short, or if you want a specific information about a specific topic. Well, today's topic is going to be the upcoming Sabbat, Samhain.
Yay!
Woo! AKA
And
Halloween.
I was feeling AKA what?
Halloween.
Sure.
Sort
And
of.
a note, Samhain is spelled Samhain. And that is such a weird word to look at and be like, Samhain? Are you kidding me? But trust me, I will know if you pronounce it Samhain, and I will show up and I will, I don't know, give you tricks instead of treats or something, throw a carved turnip at your face. And I'm looking at you, writers and producers and directors and actors of that one episode of Supernatural.
Oh my God. I wanted to beat the TV. I was so angry. Like, it's not hard to look up how something is pronounced.
It's fine.
Of course, we do this all the time. But
that's
no.
different.
Yeah, I mean, usually we're trying to pronounce it. We're just failing miserably.
We do look it up, though.
We do look it up, yes. And actually, I've known for many, many moons that this was Samhain, not Samhain. And
same.
This is one.
Don't say it again.
Yeah, I won't. Or you might come over here and beat
say
me
it
with a
3
broom.
times. Yeah.
We're gonna summon like the spirit of something bad. I don't know.
Evil, angry Amy.
Who will beat you with a witch's broom. So, what is Samhain? Do we know?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked.
Yes.
So Samhain is one of the Celtic high Sabbats. There's 8 Sabbats in the year. There's the 4 that are the astronomical calendar, the solstices and the equinox. And then there are the 4 that come in between those. And those are the high Sabbats. So it's Samhain, it's Imbolc, it's Beltane, and it's Lunasa. And so Samhain is it's kind of the end of our harvest year.
Right.
Like the harvests are over. We're getting ready to go into the dark times. Now is the time to enter that period of self-reflection, of kind of like, Huga. Listen to it 3 times. I apologize to everybody associated with Supernatural that I just threatened about their pronunciation. Huga. It's the time of like strengthening those family bonds, their friendship bonds, and just kind of moving towards the cold and the dark. But also specifically, this is the time when the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest. Yes. And this is something that is believed in a lot of cultures, and it takes different forms and different celebrations. Like, you can't say that Dia de los Muertos is Halloween. They are not the same holiday.
Not the same. No.
But this is a time, like All Saints Day, this is the time in so many cultures, and unfortunately I'm not familiar with like a lot of Asian or African beliefs around this time of year, but it is a time when a lot of people believe the veil is thin. And so in order to keep the spirits away, and like the Celtic cultures and some of the like Iberian Celtic, is to carve a face in a root vegetable, or which has now become pumpkins, but it was turnips and stuff like that before, and light the candle in it, and that'll keep you safe. And that's kind of where the jack-o'-lanterns came from. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm even following your script. Am I following your script?
Ish.
No.
Yeah, no. But that's okay, because you were not wrong about any of that. You were absolutely correct. It's also considered the Celtic New Year, which the wheel of the year, which is well known in like Wicca, etc., starts actually not with uh, the Yule or Imbolc or January 1st. It actually starts with Samhain, which
Mhm.
runs from October 31st to November 1st. So it is, obviously the church, the Catholic Church, when it moved into the Celtic areas, kind of co-opted it and turned it into this thing that we now call Halloween. So there's a lot of similar things like the carving the pumpkins and whatnot.
Cool.
But it was also a time where they didn't always, I mean, they were trying to keep the bad spirits away, obviously, but it was also a time that they would commune with the ancestors as well,
Hmm.
much like with Dia de los Muertos and other similar festivals. This was a time for the dead. It was a time of remembrance. And they also, the Celts, ancient Celts, marked it as the most significant of the four quarterly fire festivals. And during this time of year, it's really the families, individual families, they'd have their hearth fires. They'd let them burn out while they were out gathering in the final harvest. After the work was complete, they would join with the Druid priests to light a community fire. And then there would be, various rituals. And then they would take part of that fire from the community fire back home with them to start a new fire in their hearth. And I kind of just love that because everything revolved around community and taking that community with you. You're part of the community's part of you. And so I love that. Um,
I do
th
too.
yeah.
I mean, that's very much reminds me of like a Christmas Eve
Mm-hmm.
service where you have the light of God and it
Yeah.
goes out and it lights all the little candles because
Mm-hmm.
that light comes out and it spreads to everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's got their own little light. Um, and I love that's my favorite part of Christmas Eve was going to
Mm-hmm.
candlelight services and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Also like having the hot wax like drip on your hands.
That was always fun. Because those little paper thingies, they did not protect
Hmm.
you.
They
There
did
was
not
wax
protect you.
everywhere.
Yeah, that might say something weird about us that we liked that part though. Yeah. So cool, cool. We
Anyway, cool, cool,
like
cool, cool, cool.
that.
Yeah.
So how is it celebrated other than the hearth fires and stuff
Well,
and wax kink?
there's not a whole lot of documentation, but what some documents mention is that there were 6 days. It wasn't just basically a 24-hour festival. It was 6 days of drinking alcohol to excess, like getting drunk, getting blitzed off your ass, typically on mead or beer. And then along with that, they'd have these gluttonous feasts where they'd just gorge themselves, which actually kind of makes sense because you're bringing in the last of the harvest. A lot of things will only keep for so long pre-refrigeration, and
Hmm.
canning and things of that nature. So they would just eat, 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 eat. And then also, and I found this so interesting, anyone who committed a crime or used their weapons during the celebration faced a death sentence. Like it was so
Whoa.
serious. Yes, this was a time of community and safety, and anyone who threatened that safety was absolutely not tolerated because people were meant to have a good time and to be with their community, and they shouldn't have to be afraid and worry about someone harming them. So they were
That's
serious.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, I think, the time of year, and as through this whole harvest season, where you look to your neighbors and your community to make sure no one is going hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And during these feast days, nobody stays home because they don't have food to
Mm-hmm.
participate. Everyone gets to eat
Everyone gets a
very
seat at the
much
table.
community.
Mm-hmm. And
And the immortal words of Cher Horowitz, just make that table bigger.
Yes, I love that. I love that. That was one of the best things. Just make the table bigger, add on an extra leaf. That's what we did. When we go to my grandma's house or whatever for Thanksgiving, there'd be the great big table, and then you just add on some more like smaller tables along.
We
So
got the kids'
and
tables
then
over
of course there was a
here.
kids table. Yeah, we got banished to the kids table, but everybody still got a table. And then of course the family's ancestors were honored and invited home while we talked about the harmful spirits being warded off by the carved root
Turnips.
vegetables or turnips or whatever. And people would wear costumes and masks to disguise themselves um, to avoid, they actually would dress up as harmful spirits in order to avoid the harmful spirits. So that's where we get,
They'd be like, "Oh, look, you're one of me."
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna leave you. Obviously, I'll see you on the other side again
Right.
tomorrow, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bug you because you're
Right.
scary like me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's where we get a lot of that dressing up. And then, of course, bonfires played a large part in the festivities.
as they should.
Yes, the bones of slaughtered livestock were cast into a communal fire. I'm not really sure why. It was kind of an offering, I think. And then food was prepared for both the living and the dead. So they would actually have a, uh, a feast for the ancestors.
Mhm.
And then of course, this was ritually because obviously they knew and we knew that the ancestors couldn't actually eat it. So it was ritually shared with the less well off. So that food did
Mhm.
not go to waste. It went to people
Mhm.
who didn't have, because in the community, everyone was taken care of. So while also, it's celebrated with rituals and festivals to honor the ancestors, they'd also reflect on the past year or today. This is what, many pagans today, they use it as a celebration of the dead. They'll maybe have an altar or something of ancestors. But they also use it to reflect on the past year and to look toward the future as they move into that dark time. So common modern celebrations include building an altar to a deceased loved one or ones, having bonfires, or if that's not a possibility, candles, and holding feasts in silence to remember the dead. Honestly, I can't get behind silent feasts because I can't keep my mouth shut. Um, I mean, a moment of silence is great, but that's about all I can manage. And other traditions, of course, we have the costumes, we have the carving of vegetables, and performing divination is a really big
Mhm.
part of Samhain, uh, in both in the past and now. So,
Well, and again, part of that is because that veil is so thin, and
mhm,
so it just kind of enhances the oracular energy
mhm,
of the year because not only can you dive into what you have innately, what the earth is offering you, you can draw on the collective energy of your ancestors.
mhm. Yes, absolutely. Um, so as far as like rituals go, for your modern, for you as a witch today, a simple Samhain ritual that you can do involves creating an ancestor altar with like photos of loved ones who've, maybe recently passed, or maybe it's someone that passed a while ago, but someone to whom you were close, you had an attachment. And set up an altar with their photos, maybe a favorite food if their favorite my grandpa always had M&Ms in his pocket and he'd pass out these little packets of M&Ms to all the kids. So when I think about M&Ms, I always think about my grandpa. So I would for sure have M&Ms. Um, and then perform a release ritual by writing what you want to let go on a leaf. Plenty of those on the ground right now, and burning it.
Alas,
Um,
no.
huh?
We're still green.
Oh, really? Well, we are
Hmm.
very not green here. We're getting very into the autumnal season. So, but you could write it on a green lap or like a bay leaf even, I suppose. Bay leaves are often used in abundance rituals, but you could use it in a release ritual too. And then, or you could, just while you're having dinner, just leave a place at the table for the missing love.
Something you can do if you're like looking towards the future, is to do some intention setting. You can do a simple intention setting ritual. And then this is very similar to with the leaf, write your
Mm-hmm.
goals on paper and then seal them in a jar with herbs and stones. And you can do a little research on what herbs and stones would best match your intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's, depending on what you want, like if, for instance, you want something fertile, regardless of what fertility thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
There are certain herbs and stones that are more associated with fertility.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for like banishment of negative energy, getting through some shadow work, maybe you're putting in some black tourmaline to help banish that negative energy, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're going to go for. In like abundance or prosperity, maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
putting in a cinnamon stick
Yes. Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So do your research and set your intention.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really great way to do future intention setting.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like to do a look ahead tarot spread. Like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times I'll do like a simple 3 card draw if
Mm-hmm.
or even sometimes even a single card
Yeah.
from an oracle deck. But
Mm-hmm.
at Samhain, I do my full looking ahead for a year
Ooh.
and kind of making a lot of notes about that. And I know we had
Cool.
a recent podcast where we talked about grimoires
Mm-hmm.
and books of shadow, and that's something that I like to record for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Is this is where I was at on such and such date. This is what I wanted for my year ahead. This is what the cards told me.
That's
Where am
great.
I at?
That's
So,
awesome. I like that. Yeah, so definitely that's a good do a little divination there for you to
mhm.
see what's coming up. Um, Hazelnuts and apples are like a major sort of themed part of Samhain. So apples were considered fruit of the other world. So they've often been used in for magic and fortune telling. There there's kind of an ancient little ritual where a young woman would peel an apple all in one pairing and throw it over her shoulder on Samhain Eve. And then the peeling would take the shape of the first initial of the man she would marry, so she'd know. And I'm not sure how accurate that was. That
Well,
seems.
I can tell you, I've been married twice. And I don't think any of it had to do with my ability to peel apples because I think only one time did I ever get the whole peel off in one go. And I don't think it made a shape or a letter. I did the thing. Maybe it's because it wasn't Samhain,
Maybe it has
but
to be Samhain
perhaps
Eve.
my third husband will be Cthulhu because that's kind of what it resembled more than anything.
Love it. Another tradition, of course, is the dunking of apples, which we still do today, apple dunking. But here it's just a game, and whoever wins a prize. Well, historically, it was if you succeeded, you had good fortune for the year ahead. So, which is kind of cool. I'm not going to start dunking for apples though. And then hazel is a sacred tree in Irish and Scottish mythology. Basically, using hazelnuts at Samhain, um, uh, they believed that it availed seers or divinators sacred wisdom. So,
I love that.
yeah,
There's so many hazelnuts in Portland, in like
yes,
Oregon. That's
yeah,
one of the biggest, Oregon's one of the biggest growers of
right.
hazelnuts.
Outside of Italy, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
When
is
I was a
Italy
kid,
close?
I think,
Oh.
you might have to go and look and just check and make sure I'm right. So another thing you can do is gather friends, family, found family to share a meal of seasonal foods like pumpkins, obviously, apples, root vegetables, and breads. Bread is also part of Samhain. Set the table with candles or pumpkins and offer
Decorative gourd
yeah,
season,
decorative gourd
mother
season.
effers.
And then offer gratitude to the universe, to whatever gods you believe in, for the abundance of the season.
It's a great time for reflection, transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about the intention setting
Mm-hmm.
earlier, but personal growth, healing, change. It's just such a powerful time of year.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
great way to channel that energy and this, like, if you think back to like pagan celebrations,
Mm-hmm.
Samhain celebrations with the fires, like, I don't know how many people can think of that without thinking about music and
Uh-huh.
dancing
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
so much energy and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you dance around that fire, you listen to music, you are out there creating that
Mm-hmm.
community, celebrating
Mm-hmm.
and creating that energy that's going to take you through the dark times.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Um, and of course, you can make offerings to the spirits. I've seen people like leave little things at, a grave or something. You don't have to do that. The whole point of the veil being the thinnest is that they're kind of coming through to you. So a powerful way to connect with the energies of Samhain is to connect with those spirits and give them an offering. And this might include, fruits, nuts, herbs, whatnot, and I really like this. This is kind of my favorite, is written messages to your spirit guides. So you can write those messages, whether it's to thank them for their guidance and their protection, whether it's to ask them a question or whatever, and then place them at your altar or, outside, maybe in the garden or something like that, to honor your spirit guides and invite their presence during this time of year. Yeah.
I, because we talked about the 6 days of drinking and feasting
Yes.
earlier, I ate some potatoes because why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't you?
I love
They,
potatoes, but
they're a
I
root
also
vegetable.
made a special cocktail,
Mm,
salmon cocktail.
mm,
I went back and forth on what to make for a really long time,
hmm
but in another episode that's coming out in a couple weeks from
hmm
now, the cocktail that we did is called Persephone's Kiss.
hmm
And it's pomegranates and it's beautiful. And pomegranates, of course, are very much a part of the Hades and Persephone myth.
Yes.
And Hades is the underworld, the Greek underworld,
hmm
not like hell or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not Tartarus, but
hmm
it is where the dead pass through.
hmm
And it's Samhain and dead and whatever. So
Totally
I
goes together.
made
Ooh, yeah.
a drink called Hades Snare. And
Ooh.
it's basically a gin and tonic with a spiced pomegranate syrup that's in
Ooh.
it.
Tell me how you made the
Um,
spiced pomegranate syrup. I'm excited.
oh, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Tell
So
me.
I took some pomegranate juice from
hmm
my pomegranates.
hmm
Use store-bought if you have it, use fresh, whatever. It literally doesn't matter. Um, I used the peel of one orange.
hmm
Oranges are very much in season here right now as well.
hmm
A little bit of sugar, 4 cinnamon sticks, and 2 whole star anise.
Ooh.
And I kind of simmered that for a few minutes and then let it cool to room temperature.
Okay.
And so the cocktail is so easy, you guys. That's the most complicated part. So, and it's not that hard, honestly. So it's basically a gin and tonic. So you pour in your gin, couple ounces of gin or whatever fills your spirit, a couple ounces of the spiced pomegranate
hmm
syrup,
hmm
and then over ice in your glass,
hmm
and then you top it with tonic water till the
hmm
glass is full. And so mine
Ooh,
filled
that's
this
so
glass. I've had a couple sips.
pretty.
And something I have trouble with sometimes when I'm using pomegranate juice straight from the pomegranate
hmm
is that it's a very, very light colored juice.
Yeah, yeah.
But this one had time to get more concentrated, and
Ooh,
adding
yeah.
citrus directly to pomegranate juice when you're simmering it can really change the color of it and deepen it.
hmm
Um, and when you listen to our episode about craft cocktails that's coming up in a couple of weeks, you will hear about my interest in cocktail color creation
hmm
with natural ingredients
Yeah.
that are available for me. But I love that this one, because of the ingredients I put in it, because of the cinnamon and the star anise, turned out darker a
hmm
little bit. Still not as dark as if I'd used like pomegranate juice,
Yeah.
but
What I think
so
is
this
so
is my pomegranate
that's so cool.
G&T.
Love it. And what I find out is so interesting that
Oh
the
my
star
God, it's so good.
anise is used for luck and protection, but it's also used for divination and it symbolizes guidance and spiritual clarity. So that's a really that just
It
dovetails
does.
into the whole Samhain thing. I just love that. That's great. Ooh.
Well, and in a lot of cultures, cinnamon is also used for its ability to enhance spiritual awareness and
Mm-hmm.
deepen the connection with the divine and
Mm-hmm.
divination. So I think the two of those like warming spices together,
Yeah.
with everything else that's in here is really
Mm-hmm.
great because you have the orange, which is prosperity and luck, and
Mm-hmm.
gin, which is protection and purification, and
Hmm.
tonic water, which is resilience. So you have all of these that can help like stabilize you through challenging times, and then you
Hmm.
have these warming spices that will help you connect to that deeper spiritual meaning,
Hmm.
and aid you in the divination and
I
what's
just
to
love
come
that.
in the year ahead.
That's fantastic. That is a perfect Samhain drink. So I will definitely have to make that for Samhain this year.
Oh my God, it's so good. Like,
Mm,
it's phenomenally good.
okay. I'm excited to try
Phenomenally good.
now because I have
Okay.
more pomegranate juice in my fridge and it is needing to be used for something. I'll have to get some star anise though.
Yeah, and I would not skip the star anise at all.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I didn't have whatever, and I'd skip it. But I
Hmm.
don't think you want to skip the star anise or the
I don't
cinnamon
think,
for this because,
yeah.
oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
Well, fortunately, I have cinnamon
And
sticks, so I just need the star anise.
well, you know I do, so I can chuck them at things
Oh,
at the
yeah.
first of whatever.
So you have a special oracle deck, I believe, for Samhain. Yes.
Okay, so what's exciting is our
Uh,
very, very first podcast was a
hmm.
live stream that we did, I think, on Samhain last year or right around
Yes.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
that would have been the first time I used this. And now I've gone all the way through the Wheel of the Year,
Fantastic.
and we're back to the beginning
So
with
in a way,
the witch.
this is our anniversary, really, our
This
first
is our anniversary.
anniversary. That's so cool.
Oh, happy anniversary,
Yeah. Woo.
Shaya.
Happy anniversary, Amy. This
Oh,
is
oh my
fab. I
God.
didn't even realize that. I was like, oh, hey, this really is our anniversary. And I love that it's Samhain. That is such perfection,
Of
as
course,
Mary
it
Mary would
has
say.
to be. I believe that in our first live stream, I was wearing my witch hat. And I think you
uh,
were wearing a tiara.
probably knowing me. Yeah. Yeah. I do have one right here. Not the, this is not the one that I wore because I didn't have this one then, but there we go.
Ooh. My
Blingy
witch
blingy.
hat will arrive in 8 to 12 weeks.
That's a little late for Samhain, but I think we can manage without
Yeah,
just once.
I think so. I think so. Um, it's actually not 8 to 12 weeks anymore.
It's probably
It's
like
like,
four, right?
well, it arrives in Europe on the 24th of October. So
Okay.
it's already here when this goes live.
Practically, more or less. Yeah.
Um, and so then from there, it's, I think, 2 to 3 for it to clear
Okay.
customs and then make it to Portugal.
Finally, have all your
I
stuff.
don't even know what I own anymore. I'm so excited.
And so it'll be like Christmas all over again.
It will be. All right, so I shuffled the deck and I cut
Okay.
it. And I'm going to just draw the top card
All
for
right.
our Samhain to see like we're celebrating the last year of Cliffhangers and Cocktails. We're so
Mm-hmm.
excited to move forward into a new year.
Yes.
And a year from now, we're going to have so many exciting things for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we will in the next year have so many exciting things for y'all,
Mm-hmm.
not just in a year, over the year.
Over the year. Yeah.
All right, so I drew pumpkin.
Ooh.
Uncaging the spirit within thou, the fertile power you hold, to taste your buttery velvet upon tongue is a gift I shall cherish each day that comes. That sounds wicked sexual, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Velvety tongue stuff. Let's see. Pumpkin, pumpkin, pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Okay, so our keywords are protection,
Mm-hmm.
fertility, and prosperity. And
Ooh,
we
okay.
knew this would fit with the season because this is the Samhain deck, so we're
Obviously.
looking for seasonal stuff. But the pumpkin keeps you protected and safe from harm. And so by drawing this, that means we are protected. There's something around us keeping the scary things away from our front door. The
Mm-hmm.
monsters under our bed are not there. I don't know. That sentence went in the wrong direction. So you can rest easy
Yes.
knowing that
Mm-hmm.
your back is guarded. This
Mm-hmm.
card also means taking some steps to keep negative people out of your life. You
Ooh,
may need
yeah.
to reduce the amount of time you spend in some relationships and set some firm boundaries so that you
Mm-hmm.
can put your energy where it's needed most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in one of the a group that I'm in, one of the things that we're talking about is looking at priority setting. Because if
Hmm.
you look at somebody and you're like, how come they're doing this and I'm not? And then you can think, I bet that thing is in their top three priorities.
Right.
And maybe it's
Yeah.
five for me.
Right.
So looking at what I want to prioritize for the next year, it goes with that intention
Yes.
setting. So one of the things that I'm going to do is choose my top three priorities that I
Oh, that's
want to put
great.
my energy towards for
That's
the
great.
next year.
That's great. I love that idea. That's a really good. Yeah, because sometimes you're like sitting there going, well, I want this thing to happen, but you're just kind of like half-assing it. I mean, it's there, you want
Hmm.
it, but you're like not. Like, so I'm gonna just put this out there so people know. But like, I've been wanting to move to Portugal for years, like years, even before I met you. Um, and because I used to live in London. I lived in London for 6 years and I loved living abroad, but I wanted to live somewhere new. And I was just strongly, strongly, strongly pulled to Portugal. I couldn't tell you why. I've since found out I'm part Portuguese, but a very small part. But I just felt this very, 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 very strong draw. And not to like the Algarve where everybody seems to go, but like Porto specifically. And then we met and then we got to talking and you're like, I want to move to Porto. And we're like, and you started manifesting it and like got there and I'm like going but I kind of just always had this like, oh, in the back of my mind when I'm physically better or when I get the money or this or that. And then we were doing the one recording and you're like, no, you're doing it in 2026. And I'm like, okay, so this is like one of my top three is now going to be, I mean, it was always that I want to do it, but I never got there because I just wasn't focusing on it. Like it
Hmm.
wasn't my top priority. I kept thinking this needs to happen, and putting things off. And yes, those things need to happen. But now I'm like, okay, this is the year, starting now, manifesting the shit out of moving to Portugal.
Yay!
Yay! So that's one of my top three this year, and I'm just going to put that out there in the universe.
Well, I know two of my top three.
Okay, excellent.
So I'm
You do
ready for
not have
that.
to share them. That's unnecessary.
I
If
was
you,
going
unless you
to.
want to. Oh, okay. Tell me.
Okay, so two of my top three are I haven't published a book in a minute and a half. And so is really to get
Mm.
back into my writing and publishing career.
Yes.
I took some time off, and you know what? It was needed. I
Hmm.
was edging burnout, or
Mm.
burnout was edging me. I'm not sure who was having, I don't know
Someone
how
was
that was
edging
going. I don't know
somebody
who
and
was
it
edging who.
wasn't good.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good. And then it happened. Like I burned out. I lost my mind a little bit.
Hmm.
And to take care of myself and to make sure I was meeting my goals of taking care of myself and my daughter, I had to step back from that. But I'm
Hmm.
here now. I don't have a day job. I still have a
Hmm.
daughter.
Yes.
She's still here.
But
Um,
she's a little older and can kind of like do some things for herself now. But
yeah,
she still needs
hopefully that's
mom.
what she's doing right now while I'm recording.
She still needs mom
Is
stuff.
some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so just my biggest priority really is to take care of that writing,
Yes.
and the
Yes.
career and publishing and kind of pushing more energy into that.
Hmm.
And when this comes out, I'll have just had a book bub. My I'll drop in my pre-order links into
Hmm.
here because I have pre-orders up,
Yes.
which is awesome.
Yes. Ooh,
So
and we'll
that's my
drop in
first
the
priority.
excellent. Oh, we'll drop
Oh,
in the link for my. I just forgot. As we're because that's also one of my things too is the writing and so forth. Especially now that I've got this dictation down. But I just put out a Samhain Halloween themed witchy cozy mystery called A Haunt Mess. So we'll drop that into the show notes as well. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So cool.
Woo. Thank
Congratulations.
you.
My second priority is
Yes.
just really is this podcast,
Mm.
is to
Mm-hmm.
make more connections with all you, to like figure out like what better content I can provide to you as we're content
Mm-hmm.
creators. Like, how can we work on this relationship?
Yes.
Because Shay and I have some pretty big plans that we'll be talking about over the next few
Yes.
months
Yes.
that are coming off the Cliffhangers and Cocktails podcasts that are coming
Hmm.
out of the Caftan Coven.
Yeah.
And so that's another big priority of mine is I just realized what my third one is going to be.
Ooh, what is it?
Oh, this is so exciting.
Tell me.
Okay. Okay, so my third one is me.
Yes.
Like, because I've had a really rough couple of years with injuries,
Yes. Yes.
physical,
My
mental
God.
health.
Yes.
Like I broke my foot a little over 6 years ago,
Oh,
and
6 years
because I'm
ago. You mean
old,
months?
6 months ago, I don't know, time moves differently. A little over 6 months ago,
Like, wait,
and
what? What happened?
I'm finally at a point where it doesn't hurt to
Yes.
walk.
Oh,
But I
good.
get there, and the first thing I do when I'm starting to feel better is I fall down the stairs
Oh my
in my
God.
new apartment building.
Oh my God.
And
Girl.
I didn't really get hurt other than like panic.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh no, it's starting over. Because that's how I broke my foot, was falling down the stairs.
Right.
And I had a full-blown panic attack, had to go lay down with some Xanax. Um, Felt fine, a little sore,
Hmm.
as you are when you're old and
Mm.
you move funny.
Yeah.
The next night, walking to a bar with my partner, and a car loses control and starts sliding down the steep hill, like at a 45-degree
Oh.
angle. And I hear this weird noise, and I look up, and I'm like, ah, there it is. And I met like eye contact with the driver. And the driver and I were like, ah. And then I like pulled my life together and did like three hippity hops
Yeah.
up to the curb. But that was terrifying.
Yeah. That.
And
Yeah.
then because of that tension and some of the weird movements, I was really sore
Yeah. I
for a
bet.
few days. So I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better. We go to Paris. So we go to the Eiffel Tower and we saw some stuff, and then we're walking towards the Arc de Triomphe, and I'm talking to my daughter, and she's telling me a story, and all of a sudden I feel myself do that weird flailing thing where you're going forward and your arms are like buckling and you're trying to
Yeah.
catch anything.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, oh, I'm on the ground.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like, I don't even know exactly what happened between the flailing. And I'm
Yeah.
like laying there, I'm turtling. I'm on my back. I'm turtling,
Like,
I'm turtling, I'm turtling. And I know I landed face down.
yeah.
I have the bruises on my knees to prove it. So I have a huge bruise on
Oh.
my left knee, a giant bruise on my right shoulder.
Yeah.
How that, we don't know how that happened. And like the rest of the time we were in Paris, I would just randomly have back spasms that would bring me to my knees.
Oh my God.
Because, and I still like have to be very careful with how far I walk. So I didn't go to the Louvre, which means I was not
Mm.
responsible for any jewel thefts. Also, that was a week before it happened.
Yeah.
Um, my
And just to be
daughter
clear,
maybe
you
was
weren't.
scoping it
Yeah.
out.
She may have been part of it, but we don't know.
I'm not allowed to look under her bed anymore, so who knows what's under there. But I just had like all of this. It feels like just this bad luck after bad luck.
Yeah.
And every time I'm like trying to get to a point where I'm feeling good, something happens. So I really want to prioritize working on me.
Mm-hmm.
My physical
Mm-hmm.
health, my mental health,
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual health. I want to
Yes.
make these connections that will help me find that balance that I'm
Mhm.
lacking right now.
Maybe you're just getting a really strong message from the universe that, girl, you need to be taking care of yourself.
You know what? If the universe could stop bitch slapping me, maybe I'd be better at it.
I know, right? And
Like,
that
nobody asked for this.
that's funny because my priorities are basically kind of the same. I mean, it's the work, the books, the writing, and then the podcast. And then for me, rather than me, it's moving to Portugal. But Portugal is part of taking care of me,
Mhm.
because the lifestyle I think is going to just really help my health a lot. Well, we have gone so far off topic, it's ridiculous, but
Oh, yes. So sorry, everyone. I hope
that
you
is how
enjoyed.
we roll. But thank you so much for joining us today. We will put the recipe in the show notes. We'll put
As
the
well as our upcoming
our
books.
upcoming books and our books that have just come out, and the Oracle deck and all that good. So smash that like button. Yeah.
Share, review, and
Yes.
like, thank you. Blessed Samhain.
Blessed
Have a
Samhain,
great
everyone.
New Year.
Yay. day.
Have a great new year.